Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you here today on this High Performance Health Cabral Concept podcast. What I want to do is share with you right now literally a free food or free nutrient that everybody can get on a daily basis and needs to get, but so many people are deficient in it. Now, the funny thing is that we all get a little bit of it on a daily basis, but we may not be getting enough. I'm going to share with you how to know if you're getting enough and also why it is so important, because I was going through two specific studies and they were in my notes. So basically I have a giant Excel document. I use a Mac, so I have a giant numbers document, and it has at all times like 50 to 60 different topics that I could pull from for different podcasts that have, I really have a lot of interest in, and I want to be able to make sure that it's actionable for you. And so these two studies were something that I wanted to dive back into, and I actually got the time to do that. And because what I want to do for this new year as well is make things very actionable and always talk about underlying root cause, and then allow you to bio-individualize it, which just means individualize it for your own biology on your own and make it like really clear cut. So here's the big thing. There's a lot of people dealing with right now, and these are the specific markers that they looked at in these two studies, which I'll leave you right now. But they looked at memory, focused attention, energy, anxiety, and depression. Those 5 factors. All right. So we've got anxiety and depression, mood-related disorders, but involved with biochemistry. Remember, it's not always just the emotional part. It is biochemistry as well. Energy, right? Not just cortisol. It is focused on your body having all the nutrients that it needs. And then memory and focused attention, not only does it help with your study, with your recall, all of those different things, but it also helps with anti-aging. So this is extremely important with aging as well. And so what I wanted to share with you is that the two studies focused very specifically on just mild dehydration. Now, how mild, you might say? 0.72% to 2% maximum. And just to put that in perspective, if you weigh 150 pounds, you're looking at 1 to 1.5 pounds of weight loss from water would lead to poor or worse memory, more anxiety, more prone to depression, lower energy, and lower focused attention. That's how small a percentage it takes to actually see this decline. So you might say like, oh, water, no big deal. It is actually a huge deal. So when you don't want to exercise, you're not motivated to do anything, you're feeling low, you're not in a great mood, you're worried, you're anxious, you can't focus, it sometimes can be a root cause of dehydration. Like ultimately, we need to make sure that we take care of the foundations of overall health before we get fancy. So everybody's looking at the new greatest, probiotic or, things which do have merit, like nicotinamide riboside or, Apre Flex or something like, Indian Boswellia. Great. Like all these things can be amazing, but it never takes the place of the foundations of 7 to 9 servings of brightly colored things per day, right? And half your body weight basically in ounces of water per day. And what I want to do is I actually want to calculate this to a greater degree, but I want to share with you the two studies. So I'm going to point them to you to go to stephencabral.com/3261. That's today's show, stephencabral.com/3261. I will point to 2 to 3 studies. The first one is the British Journal of Nutrition. These go back over a decade. So this has been kind of well known. We talked about this actually in my body transformation practice as well. And then one a year later in the Journal of Nutrition. And then we've got one more in the Frontiers in Aging and Neuroscience. That one's probably more cognitive decline and aging, but I'll try to link some of these up for you. All right. And again, it shows as little as 0.72. So you might say, well, I don't know what 0.72 is. Think about it this way. So you got to find your average weight. We actually talked about that a little on yesterday's show. So hopefully you tuned into episode 3260 as to how to figure out like your weight and then also your, basal metabolic rate, like how much you're eating for the day. But let's just say that your weight is 160 pounds. Well, we just multiply by 0.72. And so what is 0.72 of the 166? So let's take a look at that. All right. So if we look at 160 pounds, 1% of 160 is 1.6. 0.72 is 1.19. So when we look at the scale, if the scale is down a pound, we might be like, okay, great. But if it's from dehydration, not ideal. So how do we know? Let's take a look at this right now. There's a couple ways of doing this. And I know that not everybody wants to weigh themselves on a scale, and I'm totally sensitive to that topic, and I get it. So that might not be the right thing for you. So I understand. But what I like to do is just go by the exact science of it. So let's say on a daily basis, you're at a weight that you like for you. So like that's the thing is like, okay, this is the right weight or the weight that you typically weigh. All right, so you weigh 160 pounds, let's just say midday. When you go to sleep at night before bed, you weigh 168 pounds. So you've gained, or let's call it 167 pounds. Okay, and when you wake up in the morning, you weigh 164. All right, so we know that for you, your weight with eating your normal diet and your normal being is somewhere between like 166 and 167. So when you wake up in the morning, you are dehydrated by about 1.5% of your body weight, right? So that's why, think about this. When we wake up in the morning, sometimes we're a little groggy. Sometimes we can't focus as well. What do we need to do? We need to hydrate. So literally the very first thing that we do, and I can just share with you exactly what we do in our practice, is that we hydrate. So we wake up, we do the daily fruit and vegetable blend, which is a rainbow blend, basically powder. It's organic fruits and veggies, superfoods in there. You don't have to do this. I'm just sharing with you what we do in our practice. Squeeze a lime in if you'd like, and a little pinch of sea salt. Not a lot. And the lime is for the potassium, and the sea salt is a little sodium. You get a good amount of potassium as well in the greens-based powder. That's 16 ounces. So you're drinking that down, which is going to add basically about a pound of hydration back. Now, it doesn't always work like that, so I don't want to say it specifically like that, or about 1%, but I'm going to give you the exact calculation so that you can figure it out for you as well. So now what we did is, because remember, a lot of people aren't drinking for a couple hours before bed. No water, no anything. Okay, so let's say you're in bed for 8 hours, and then you haven't drank for 2 hours or so before that. So now 10 hours, almost half the day, you didn't consume any water. So of course you're going to be dehydrated because as you sleep throughout the night, your body perspires. We lose a good amount of water through our skin overnight. That's totally natural. So when we wake up, we want to hydrate. Now, a lot of people though, what do? They drink a coffee. That is not the way to hydrate. Now, does it dehydrate some people? Well, there's science back and forth on it. They basically say if you've been drinking coffee every single day of your life, it just kind of keeps you at baseline, but it is not hydrating, right? And so what we want to look at is let's do something first to hydrate, even if it's just a glass of water. That's okay. Maybe there's no daily fruit and vegetable blend. Maybe there's no electrolytes or anything in it. Just let's get some water in the body. I can just tell you from personal experience and working with hundreds of thousands of people that getting a little something in it does seem to help absorb it to a greater degree. If you're low blood sugar, you can add a little bit of raw honey, or you can add a touch of maple syrup. How much? You're talking like 3 to 5 grams. That's it. It's a very small amount to help you with that absorption and not flush the blood sugar lower. Again, you just have to kind of know your own body, and you'll be able to figure that out over time. Now, the next thing we do, people get ready for the day, is they do a smoothie to start the day. Or they do oatmeal and they add a little bit of daily nutritional support or whatever it might be. Whatever works for you. That is extremely hydrating. So what happens now before you have your coffee is that your body is back to 100% hydration. When you urinate, the urine is a light yellow, not perfectly clear, but a light yellow, showing you now that you are hydrated. Now, again, if you use nutritional supplements, it might be a brighter yellow, but you know that you're hydrating your body. And now you are up to baseline. Now you can decide if you need the caffeinated coffee or not. You probably don't, but you might enjoy it and you want to use it. Whereas before you needed the caffeine to push your adrenals to produce cortisol in order for you to function because you were functionally dehydrated. This is really important. Now, the last point I wanted to share with you. So again, this will work for you. If you don't believe me, that's okay. I like people to put it to the test. Try it for 21 days. Just try it for 21 days. Wake up, hydrate with about 12 to 16 ounces of water, daily fruit and vegetable blend, pinch of sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, just a pinch. That's all you need. And squeeze a half a lime in there if you'd like, or lemon. Do that. An hour or so later, maybe 2 if you want it the most, you can do your smoothie. 1 cup of frozen berries if you want, throw in 2 scoops of daily nutritional support butter, just some water, blend. You can get fancier, of course. We have all sorts of free recipes at stephencabral.com, any one of these podcast pages, but it's totally up to you. Whatever you'd like to do, hydrate that body, get some good nutrients, protein, good fruit. You can get a healthy fat in there too if you'd like, okay? I don't want to go through the smoothie recipes for today, but that will bring you back up to 100% hydration. Then after that, you can decide if you want coffee or not. That's totally up to you. All right. So now let's look at this though. Let's say that you go out and you exercise, or you go for a run, or you do a sauna and you're sweating. What I'd like you to do, this is a great one to do. Weigh yourself before exercise and after exercise if you're sweating. And what you want to do is weigh the same, right? So it's not for first thing in the morning because you need to hydrate first. But let's say that you're fully hydrated now. You weigh yourself before exercise or before sauna, and then after. And if you're down 0.6 pounds, you know that you're dehydrated. Your body lost water. Now you need to rehydrate again. How much do you need? Really simple equation. Take how much you lost in pounds, 0.6 pounds, multiply that by 16. So basically ounces per pound. And it's not a perfect science, but it's really close. That means you need 9.6 ounces of water to rehydrate back up. And usually we use, whatever you'd like. I don't want to give you all the specific things because I don't want you to think I'm pushing you to one specific thing that we do, but you could literally just do a pinch of sea salt and again, lemon or lime if you want for your natural electrolyte, or you could use electrolytes if you'd like. Okay, so what if you lost a pound? You need 16 ounces of water. What is that? It's literally 2 glasses of water, right? So that's what I want you to look at it. If you lose even more, people go out on a hot day and they'll sweat and they'll lose 3 pounds. Okay, and that does happen. Well, what do you need? You need a good amount of water, right? You need to do 16, 32, 48. It's a lot of water, right? But that's what's going to take to rehydrate back up to make sure you're not dehydrated. Now, some of that, if you lose that much weight, if you lose over a pound just from exercise, from dehydration, you're going to want to add some electrolytes in there. There's no doubt about that. You don't want just pure water washing through your system. So I would definitely add electrolytes to that. But this is the easiest way to make sure that you are not experiencing anxiety, depression, low energy, cognitive decline, or memory decline based on something as simple as dehydration. But I'll tell you right now, it is more common than you would think and extremely common in the elderly. So if you have an older parent or grandparent, get them to consume more water on a daily basis. How much do they need? Take their weight, divide it in half. That's about the amount of water that most people need. And you want to consume most of that earlier in the day before lunch when the body needs to rehydrate from overnight. Get people at least drinking a glass of water when they wake up. Rehydrate the body. Try to do a smoothie for breakfast if you can. You'll be at 100% and then you can go from there. So hopefully this was helpful. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to do a follow-up show on this. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning into the Cabral Concept. Many more shows to come here in the new year. Take care, buddy. Have an amazing rest of the day. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.